What's up everyone, my name is Cody Engel, and in this video we are going to talk about the GroupBy function for the collections library in Kotlin. So with that, let's go ahead and just get started. So we will create a new Kotlin file, we will call it grouping, and we will create a new main function, minimize that, zoom in on the function itself. And if you remember from one of our previous videos where we talked about the associate function, and I mentioned that I don't really use associate too much, that's largely because of the use case where it ends up just overwriting values. And the GroupBy function does something similar, but instead of overwriting values, it retains all of the values. So let's go ahead and see what that ends up looking like. If we do library.books, and then the name of the function is going to be GroupBy, and then we have our book, and if we do book.genres, and then for each, where we have a key and then a value, we can do print line, and then we will just show what the key is for this group, and then we'll do value dot for each, and we'll do indexed just because we will show the index of the book. So for each indexed, and then index, and then book. And then we can do print line with our value +1 dot, and then the book title. So we will go ahead, we will run this function, or run this program, and then you'll see we have our business book, our self-help book, politics, and then you'll notice that we have business and self-help. So the books that are business and self-help. And you'll also notice that we have some values being duplicated as well, so being printed out multiple times there. So, you know, this wasn't quite perfect. There are actually, oops, we did value there. So we should have done index. If we rerun that, that'll probably give us a slightly different look. So there we go. So we have business there, and then the different business self-help books as well. So it's a little bit more of what I was expecting it to look like. But the problem though that you're seeing is this gives us the business books, so biography and business, for example. That's fine, but in general, like if I were to ask what books belong to a certain genre, I wouldn't care if they belong to two genres. I would just, if they belong to two genres, then that book should be duplicated with that. Let's go ahead and address that problem and fix it. So our GroupBy function is going to get a little bit more complex, but it also kind of will show you the power of using the GroupBy function along with some other functions that we've already talked about. So we'll start off by doing library.books.map, and then our book. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to do book.genres.map. So we're going to map each of the genres to a pair where we will have a genre as the first value and the book as the second value. So this can go through and it can create our duplicates. So whenever a book has more than one genre, then we will have more than one pair being mapped. Otherwise, it will just give us a single pair back with that single genre and book. Now though, at this point, so a handy trick to use when you want to see what's being returned, we'll say map. We can see that this is a list with a pair of genre and book. What we want to do is we want to flatten this. So what's coming through is, instead of a list, it will be able to map each individual item. So we're going to flatten this to be just a single list again, instead of a list of lists. And then we can go ahead and run our GroupBy function. And so this GroupBy is going to be our genre books pair. And in order to do that, we will just say GroupBy the first genre books. We'll go ahead, we'll just clean this up a little bit because there we go. That's a little bit more readable. So now this is going to group by the genre of the books, but from up here, we've already created our duplicate book items, and then we will just do for each, and we will have our entry. And actually, we'll show, so this is going to be a map, which will be an entry of genre as the key, and then a list of the books, but they're going to be the pair of books. So that's just the one thing to keep in mind there. So for that, we can do our print line again, which will be our entry.key. So the genre, and then we'll say entry.value. So this will be the list of values. Then we'll do our for each indexed again, which will have our index, and then the pair. And then we'll do print line, which will be index plus 1 dot, and then our pair. And we want to get the second value from the pair, so the book, and then the title. So now, if we go ahead and run this, we should see that now the genres should only have one, so not those dual genres again. And then each book that is part of two genres should be duplicated. So it should have one in the one genre and then the other one in the other genre. And so that is the GroupBy operator. That's anytime that you want to take something where you have a key and you want to group it with something else, you can use this operator to define the key, and then it'll handle grouping all of the values that match that key for you. So this can be incredibly useful if you have some sort of UI that you're dealing with where you want to show, where you have a list of items and then there's some key, and that key is going to be part of the UI, and you want just items to be subsections of that. GroupBy is a great option for this. And yeah, it's, this is why, again, when I was talking about the associate function, this is why I don't use associate too much, is really because associates doesn't have a very strong use case for me, but the GroupBy has just an infinite amount of possibilities for using it. The hardest part is just actually understanding and being able to use it. So I hope that this helped. If you have any questions, though, it took me a while to understand the GroupBy operator fully, so be sure, just leave a comment. I'm more than happy to answer any questions you may have. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. If you want to keep watching more videos like this, hit the subscribe button. And otherwise, I will catch you in the next one.